Alrighty boys, welcome back once again to another video. How you guys doing? Guys, today we're going to be talking about some Fortnite Save the World news for the first time in a very long time. Normally I kind of consider myself, kind of the news guy in the community. I try to report on the news, as soon as I get my hands on it or as soon as I know about it. But there's just been so much stuff going on with the game, with the Mythic Storm King and the new Mythic weapons and the Battle Breakers crossover. I've just been making videos left and right and doing Storm King carry streams over on Twitch, and there's just been a lot of stuff going on. So I haven't really been able to talk about the news, but in today's video, I actually have a pretty good compilation of some topics that we can talk about, and it'll be pretty interesting. So we're going to be talking a little bit about some Frostnite 2019 news, going to be talking about when the next big update is going to be coming out, which should be 11.30, as we do have Thanksgiving coming up, and that is going to change the update cycle just a little bit. The new rocket launcher coming out, the Spectral Blade returning, and some pretty big changes to the way that this game works in the form of transform keys. There's a lot of stuff going on in today's video, so make sure that you stick around and, well, kind of take a look at everything going on. So before we do jump into it though, I do want to mention that if you notice there's something different, I just recently did a new channel rebranding because, well, it's about to be Christmas time. We got 1 month until Christmas, and your boy, well, I like Christmas. I did the same thing for Halloween, so you'll notice that the kind of channel colors went from orange to green, and we kind of got a Christmas sweater on going on the logo and all that kind of stuff. So a few different things going on with the channel. Just to let you know, I'm not dead. I just went from orange to green, so yeah. Let's go ahead and jump into the video, and let's go and start off with the Frostnite news. So for those of you guys that do not know what Frostnite is, Frostnite was quite literally the first ever piece of in-game content that Save the World had seen in its entire life cycle, or at least in my opinion. This was by far the best content, the most interesting content that we've ever seen. Basically what it is that you start out in this, complete new snowy environment, and there's this burner in the middle of the map. What you got to do is you got to go out, collect blue glow, and then bring it back, as the burner is going to be constantly going down in the amount of, burn fuel thingy that it has. So you want to make sure that you have blue glow so you can keep it burning and keep it going. If it goes all the way down, then you die. Husk can walk into it and cause it to go down even more, and yada yada. So basically it's a huge team thing where you want to have some people on your team go and farm for mats to build up the fort. You want to have somebody specifically to be able to build up the fort, and you want to have somebody that kind of alternates between farming and helping with the fort and getting blue glow and all that kind of stuff. It was by far one of the best game modes that have ever come to this game, and in my opinion is one of the best game modes we've ever seen. Basically think of it like dungeons. Dungeons is like the new piece of content where you don't bring anything from your backpack into the actual mode itself. You find weapons and you just kind of run and gun your way through it. Well, Frostnite is basically that, except for instead of run and gun, it's defense focused, and you're also able to gather mats to craft your own traps and craft your own weapons and such. So it's a really cool game mode for those of you that like defense stuff. Well, we do have a little bit of news of this actually coming back, and it actually reprising its role in the Save the World ecosystem. So we have two different Reddit posts that are concerning this. This first one right here is something that's actually been known for quite a while, but I do want to show this as evidence and then kind of showcase the next one. This first one right here says the Frostnite area spotted in the Storm King's domain, and this is pretty good evidence in and of itself, as well. Basically, why is there a snowy tile in the Storm King domain itself? Why is it still there? Why hasn't it been wiped from the game? If Frostnite literally hasn't been here for an entire year, why is that even in the game's code? Well, that's kind of a little piece of evidence that we got Frostnite going on, but here's pretty much the next big piece of evidence. We have a Reddit post that says, I got this on my quest page today, Frostnite might be coming back soon, and it literally says, it's a huge glitched out screen. His screen is all sorts of messed up, but it says in very faint text Frostnite, because there is no actual wallpaper to go behind it. So this is a little bit of proof that, well, the devs are experimenting with getting Frostnite back into the game, and there are some aspects of it in the game files. But I mean, even without these two pieces of evidence, I think it's pretty obvious that we are going to be seeing Frostnite again, as Frostnite, like I said, is one of the most hyped up, modes of all time. It had something for everybody. It had just the base mode that you can play as a casual player. It had weekly challenges that you could do for heroes, banners, and weapons that would appeal to the hardcore and the casual audience. And then it had Frostnite 128, where you could go and earn your glorious Fire Crown banner, which you guys probably have seen me use a lot in some of my gameplays or on my Twitch. Yo, put it down. Put the slow fuel down. Last 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's gone now. It's gone now.
I'm putting fuel in the
burner.
burner.
I'm going in the fill. Let's go, guys. Let's go.
So,
Spam
Let's
them.
go, boys.
spam the launchers.
GG.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about,
Let's
boys.
go.
That's what I'm
Finally.
talking about.
Nice. Good job,
Let's
good job.
go, guys.
Good job, guys.
Let's
Good job.
go. Good job.
And you know, you could earn this specific banner to showcase, hey, I survived quite literally like almost 2.5 hours straight against like power level 200 to 300 husks, and you know, was able to still be able to beat the mission and stuff. So you know, it's always been one of those modes where, you know, it is defense focused and not everybody likes defense, but at the end of the day, it still had easier content and kind of laid back modes for even the casual player base that don't even like that kind of stuff to be able to get into. So it's definitely not for everybody, but for those that like the defense aspect of the game, it is by far a godsend. It is one of the coolest modes that we've ever seen, and you know, given these two Reddit posts right here, and given the fact that it is the most fan favorite mode we've ever seen, there is absolutely no way that we don't see this mode come back, because as you guys know, we do have Christmas time coming up, and if you guys remember Christmas from last year, I believe Epic Games took 2 to 3 weeks off, maybe even a month for Christmas time. So we know for a fact that Epic Games has to be coming up with some second big content drop to kind of help mitigate the fact that, well, there's no way that they're going to drop dungeons and the Mythic Storm King and then leave us alone until January. You know, people aren't going to be satisfied with that. And so there's absolutely no way that we don't see a big content drop before the end of December, as Epic Games does have to take that 2 to 3 week break as they do every year. So I guarantee we're going to see Frostnite come back. It's going to be probably a different map, maybe. If it's not a different map, then definitely some changes to gameplay, maybe some item placements and some rewards and all that kind of stuff. So I guarantee we're going to be seeing Frostnite coming back, given those two pieces of evidence and given the way that the community has acted towards it in the past. So there goes that. Moving on to the other stuff that I want to talk about. I want to talk about the most recent home base status report that is on the Fortnite website, as it does have some very interesting information that you may have missed out on. We have Save the World home base status report of the 26th of November. It says, "Hi commanders, it's a light week as Team Homebase takes a few days off to spend time with family and food." Basically, this means as Epic Games goes to take a vacation. "We hope everyone's out exploring dungeons, taking on the Mythic Storm King, and tracking down the new mythic weapons. The time for haunts and spooks is quickly coming to an end," basically the end of Frostnite. "Become the ultimate ghost boss by completing the 4 Fortnitemares questlines, as they'll be taking their ghostly slumber in patch 11.30. So this basically confirms this is when Frostnite is going to end, and this kind of may usher in, you know, Frostnite, the actual winter and the Christmas themed event. So do keep that in the back of your head. We have the Metal Marauder, which is going to be coming literally today, and I'll be streaming this on twitch.tv/demonjoefrance. We'll be checking this out. Basically, really what we're going to do is whenever reset happens, I'm going to play with my group. You know, we're going to get the new mythic weapon, because every week you are able to get another one. So I'm going to get a new mythic weapon, fingers crossed for the rocket launcher or the assault rifle. And then I'm going to go test this out, max it out, and probably make a video on it for you guys. But the Metal Marauder, it says clips how to blast creating the new black metal launcher. It uses explosive ammo to fire long-range rockets that damage groups of enemies in a moderate radius. So just off the bat, it just doesn't really seem to be anything special, but we'll have to wait and see till we get it. It's going to be available from the weekly store on the 27th of November at 7 p.m. until the 4th of December. So the 4th of December is obviously going to be the end of this specific content update, because this is a content update. We didn't have to download this update or anything like that. But moving on to the Spectral Blade, this kind of gives us a little bit of information on, you know, when the next big update is going to be coming out, because as it says here, the Spectral Blade is re-releasing, and a lot of people, you know, the Spectral Blade has always been a fan favorite, something a lot of people have wanted. It says Homebase's favorite husk carving tool is returning. The Ghostly Blade uses above average attack speed to deal high sustained damage with moderate impact, and it unleashes the Spectral Slash to warp to the targeted enemy, dealing heavy damage and staggering smaller ones. And this will be available starting December 4th until the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time respectively. So this is telling me that this is basically going to be the second content update that we get, and that's going to allow us to be able to get the Spectral Blade starting on the 4th. And then after the 11th, you know, whatever, you know, that time comes around, that will be around the time 11.30 drops, although this is only speculation. Now we're going on to the kind of big piece of this video. Aside from the Frostnite bit at the beginning, we actually have a letter from the design team, and I talked about this briefly on Twitter, but let's go ahead and go over this. this, it says, we wanted to give everyone a heads up that we're simplifying the ways you can get rid of unwanted items and save the world. Having to decide if you want to recycle, collect, or transform an item isn't a fun or interesting choice, and we've been evaluating some of our current systems to see where some improvements can be made. One of the things that stuck out to us was transform keys and how little they are being used by players. The transform feature has always been somewhat clunky and hard to use, and players can pull desired items out of the collection book via research and recruit, which makes transform kind of somewhat redundant. As a result, we are removing transform altogether in version 11.30. When we remove transform, we'll rebalance design/manual so that you get them from common and uncommon items when they're recycled. Additionally, we'll remove people as a resource, making rescuing survivors grant survivor XP and making any expedition that consumed people use research points instead, a very good change for people who have the research tree maxed out. Any consumable transform keys that you own will automatically be executed for free and the resulting item placed in the inventory. Ultimate founders who have permanent epic transform keys will have those keys executed 4 times for free, and any permanent key will be removed. Thanks everyone. So this right here I'm personally a little bit indifferent on, and it's also a little bit of good and bad news. So the good news is that they are streamlining the way that the game works and making it a little less complicated and kind of just removing a feature that not many people were using. I mean, I know I personally wasn't using it, but I definitely see how some early game players could use it, but then, they have to understand it to begin with, and knowing Epic Games, they probably don't even explain it very well in the beginning of the game. So I can kind of understand where they're coming from. They're going to allow, people are going to get taken away from the game as a resource, which thank God. It's honestly really annoying that they've been a resource for so long, and allowing research points to be used for stuff like expeditions, and they're, making more ways to get survivor XP and more manuals, and getting more manuals is a huge part for a lot of people. The bad thing here is that Ultimate Edition owners like myself are kind of getting screwed here, because one of the main reasons to purchase the Ultimate Edition was the epic transform keys, which were permanent, as you would be able to use these keys over and over and over again and then dismantle what you got for extra manuals. And basically what they're doing here is removing one of the incentives for people to buy the Ultimate Edition. For those of you guys that don't know what the Ultimate Edition is, it's basically the edition of the game that comes with all of the founders weapons like the Quickshot, the Constructor, Drumroll, Masamune, and the Nocturno, and it gives you all the heroes that come along with it as well, and it has all sorts of other things that come with it as well, as like banners, backpack slots, and transform keys being one of them. And over time, the Ultimate Edition has been taken down a notch over and over and over again. It's gotten to the point where the weapons that we are able to get from this pack are nearly worthless because all the other weapons in the game are better, all of the heroes are just reskins, the actual game keys that you could give to your friends were taken away, and now the transform keys are being removed, making even less incentive to have even bought it in the first place, basically ripping off people who have already bought it. And so this has angered a lot of people who own the Ultimate Edition. Now me personally, I'm not making a big deal out of it. I feel as though people are complaining just to complain. However, I do feel as though Epic Games should make right on this, although I don't think it's the biggest of deals. Now, what one player has suggested, and a lot of people have suggested for, a way to kind of remedy this, is to give away a Nocturno wrap as a weapon wrap for people who have bought the Ultimate Edition. Because by God, this thing costs like $250, and over time, the value of it has just been diminished. And the Ultimate Edition hasn't been sold for a long time, but a lot of the hardcore players like myself have it. So a lot of people have suggested stuff like a Nocturno wrap, which would be absolutely fantastic for people who have bought this edition. It would be such a cool way to pay homage to people who have helped found this game and stuff. But yeah, it's a cool design choice. I think it's pretty good overall. It just has a few negatives that come with it, in the sense that Ultimate Edition players are getting a little bit screwed here, but maybe over time they will implement some cosmetic rewards for people who have paid that much, as the editions over time have just got completely diminished in how much they're actually worth. But that's pretty much it for the news, guys. Today we've gone over the new rocket launcher, Spectral Blade coming around, the transform keys kind of being removed and refined, and all of those systems getting refined. When the next big update's going to be, and all the kind of news and the glitches that's been going on concerning Frostnite 2019. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments down below. Felt really good to actually come out with a news video for once. I really do appreciate you guys checking out the video. Subscribe if you are new around here, because I do make videos like this almost every single day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.